What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. And today I got something I think you're going to like. I think you're going to like this one. It's some teams that you should be building after you complete your Lightspeed bundle journey. So this means if you've bought all the packs and you don't know what to do next, this is probably some suggestions of what you should be doing. This video does assume a few things, by the way. This video assumes that your roster is built in a way that it's developed towards getting these teams. It assumes that you guys put in the time and the effort to, play this game regularly. So if you don't do that and you're a casual player, this is going to be a kind of a hard list for you to do, probably. This also isn't in order necessarily. Some of it is, but like you can decide. Obviously, again, it's your roster. I can't, magically just imagine what all of your rosters are watching this video, right now. Can't do that. And also just make sure that you're developing the roster in a way that makes sense. I can't really do that for you. So let's get into the video. We're just going to get started. And so at the beginning, I just want to say, duh. Okay. Finish the characters that you have for your roster that should be on the teams that you just farmed. So for Zorii Bliss, you just farmed Rey. You have a full R5 Zorii Bliss team without Zorii Bliss. Get Zorii Bliss, get her Omicron, get her modded. Mod all of the resistance characters you're going to need for this Zorii Bliss team. It's probably a good idea. Here, I actually can pull up my other tab here for a second. Here, you can pause the video. These are some great compositions for resistance teams. A lot of these I pulled from places like Reddit, and Calvin Awesome, he had a great video. So a lot of these teams are pulled from there. I came up with, I think this Zorii team is my own thing I came up with. But again, that's a subjective thing. Make sure you get Zorii up and running, and of course Ben Solo. He's kind of like a lifter unit for Rey. With Rey, Ben Solo kind of makes one of the best GL defensive teams. I mean, he just makes her a really good GL, but I hear she's a very good GL with Ben Solo. So if you haven't already, and you're starting to work on Rey, plan on getting Ben Solo from Conquest. I don't know how you do that. If you have a Galactic Legend already, maybe you can get Ben Solo, or if you have a really good maybe gas team or something. Those are some options for you to get Ben Solo once Proving Ground comes around for you. Also, you're probably really going to want Palpatine, Visas Mar, and maybe Old Ben. Old Ben and Visas Mar can really be flipped around for some other characters. I've seen Jedi Training Rey. I've seen Scavenger Rey thrown around. There's a bunch of different compositions for a Starkiller team. Really, the main core component is a Palpatine lead with Mara Jade and Starkiller in there somewhere. Visas Mar is also probably really popular in that team, but again, it doesn't have to be her, but she's one of the better options. I just throw in Old Ben because I have him at Gear 12 already, so I think it would be smart for me to start farming him. But basically, finish out your teams that you're already farming before you continue on to anything else in this video. Now, after that, you should decide what your next endgame is. And it doesn't actually necessarily have to be a GL, just GLs are really stereotypical for next endgame, I suppose. Right now, if you're watching this video, your next endgame most likely is going to be Rey or SLKR. I see more and more people are going for Rey because she's a closer GL, which is totally cool. I have a few videos on why maybe you should think about SLKR as well. But if you've already started that farm, do Rey for sure, then do SLKR, Starkiller, whatever order you want to do. Basically, after you do those legendary events, or I guess get those legendary characters, or galactic legendary characters, I should say, you decide what you're doing next. So if you're going to go after a Galactic Legend, if you want to go after Gas, if you want to do all the Dark Side KOTOR stuff, so Darth Revan, Darth Malak, Darth Malgus, if you want to go after that, decide what your next endgame is, because that's kind of how you're going to structure the later half of this list. The later half of this video is more kind of wherever your roster's kind of going. So deciding that after you finish up your teams and your farms is going to be really helpful for you. So make sure you're, diligent, plan ahead, basically. Don't plan too far ahead because sometimes the game can change. Again, these Lightspeed bundles came out of nowhere, so you can't expect everything, but have an idea in mind, basically. That's what I'm trying to get at here. So after you decide your next endgame, you're going to want to finish doubling up on some of your teams. So if you want to try and pull together a third resistance team, or a Phasma Omicron team, or a TIE Fighter Pilot Omicron team, which I hear mixed things about, but that's topic for another video. Anyways, basically, if there's a way for you to create more teams with the teams that you're given with the Lightspeed bundle, definitely do it. So this Phasma team would be a decent Omicron team. You want to find teams basically that's been given to you that you can build off of and continue to build off of that can serve you for long periods of time. Phasma can do pretty good in territory wars, especially if your guild is wanting her or needs her, I suppose. I mean, if you need her, you probably should already have her, but if your guild needs Phasma, definitely focus on Phasma. But after that, you're probably gonna focus on farming some of these characters that are solo teams or very easily plug and play characters. So here I have Wat Tambor, Moff Gideon. Those are some good plug and play characters. Savage Opress, Wampa, and Darth Vader can be solos. Depends on where you are in the game and how far you take your Savage and Wampa, of course. Darth Vader can fit in a few different places. Right now, I run him with Palpatine lead, Mara Jade, Darth Vader, Thrawn, or Wat, and Piet or a tank like Royal Guard or Shore Trooper. You can run him with the tank or a team like that, but if you're doing this event, you're probably going to have Starkiller be with Palpatine and Mara Jade, so Darth Vader can solo if you give him a bunch of Sith characters or Empire characters to feed him speed. That probably would be best for him. Darth Vader is one of my favorite characters in this game, so getting him up and running is probably a great option. Wat Tambor is going to be a very long farm for you in case you don't already know. I assume most of you do. You have to get him from Darkside Geonosis territory battles, which your guild has to be actively doing a lot. And still, shards for him can be really slow. So expect a long farm for him. But these are just some great solo characters you can plug in at different spots, maybe on their own, maybe on teams to help boost them. Another great one, I think, is Armorer. I didn't put Armorer up here. Armorer is great for like Sith Eternal. She fits in some really great places. Basically, you want to finish out. This kind of goes back to the other one I was just talking about, where plan your roster ahead. If there's any plug and play characters that go with that new end goal that you want, start thinking about that. Wampa and Savage should definitely be on that list. Wat should be something you think about as well. You can plug in Moff Gideon with Armor, whoever you want to put there. Moff Gideon would be great for an Imperial Trooper team or I guess an Imperial team in general, but Imperial Troopers, he fits in really well. Just think about that kind of stuff going forward, basically. After that, you really want to start focusing on teams that you're given from packs that are really good in certain situations, but maybe you have to farm a little bit more. Maybe it's not just one character. Maybe you have to farm 2 or 3. So for this Qui Gion team, you have Ahsoka. Maybe Ahsoka isn't the best fit for this team. Currently, I have my Ahsoka on a Jedi Knight Revan team, but I think a Qui Gion Jinn team right off the bat would probably be a little bit better for you in Grand Arena, especially if you're in like Carbonite. Getting a Qui Gion Jinn Omicron team with Jedi Knight Anakin would be huge for you. Ahsoka's a Galactic Republic Jedi. It kind of fits in that team. Eventually, you're probably going to want to put her on a different team. However, this is a great start for a farm. This is basically what I run, except I put maybe Mace Windu in here later. Depends on who you got, obviously. But I really do like this Qui Gion Jinn team. I think this is a great fit for Ahsoka. Early game, late game, you're going to want to put her somewhere else. But you're always going to want this team for Grand Arena no matter what. So this is a great a great excuse to farm this team, I should say. After that, we have kind of an interesting one, Dash Rendar. I didn't personally see a lot of Dash Rendar teams before the Lightspeed bundle, but now we have a bunch of his character teams. Just a lot of his team players, I guess we say, his units are given to you at R5. L337 is a great tank. Young Lando Calrissian is whatever, but I mean, he's given to you at R5, so might as well use it. Emphas Nest is a great character. Vandor Chewbacca also popular for some Scoundrel teams, but if you can fit a Dash Rendar team in there, and if you fully upgrade Dash, he can be a pretty solid team. You can switch out some of these other characters for a plethora of other ones. I mean, I've seen Bam in here before. I've seen Han and Chewie, both vet and just regular, the ones that go with CLS. I've seen them in there before. I don't know if I can recommend doing that, but I've seen compositions like that before. Basically, this is a very versatile team, but very helpful in the long run for sure. So after that, this is kind of where the teams start to get into whatever you want. This dash render is kind of included in that as well, I should say. This is just wherever your roster takes you. Personally, you get T3M4 and you're going to have to Relic 7 BB-8. BB-8 goes really well with Shorty. I've seen IG-88 on this team as well. And if you're going for Executor, you're going to have to R5 him. So might as well put him on here. I threw R2-D2 on here because I've seen him before, but I mean, you can sub him out for a bunch of other droids, obviously. He's needed for GL Ray, or sorry, Leia, I should say, not GL Ray. R2 is needed for GL Leia. So if you're thinking about that, this would be a great team for you, especially, you know, if you do Ray and then you're going to do Leia as your next final big end game. I think this would be a good call. Get your Shorty team up and running. I mean, it's good to have a use for IG-88. I do want to start farming this team because right now he's just sitting here collecting dust on my roster. So this might be a good idea for you to think about. After that, the Traya team. This is a good team. This is like near GL level team from what I hear and I see. You get Darth Talon R5 for the Starkiller event. You're going to need Darth Sidious to do the Sith Eternal event. And I mean, the Triumvirate is just really, really good. You're going to need to farm Darth Sion's node to get the Kylo Ren command shuttle. So hopefully by the time you finish that Kylo Ren farm, Darth Sion will be 7 stars already. The only bottleneck, I suppose, here would be Traya herself. If you're not getting her shards, that could be an issue. But I believe, yeah, you can farm her in the guild store. I mean, she's in the Hero Sith raid, but I don't know how many people are still playing that at this point. So really just farm Traya up as if you can. This is a really strong team. Darth Talon fits in here nicely. You could also fit Savage in this spot as well. Savage is a really popular character to throw in a Traya team. I threw Darth Sidious in here because I threw a Zeta on him because I was about to do the Sith Eternal event, and I know you need this. Well, it's highly recommended you get the Zeta for the event. So that's really the reason I put the Zeta on him. And because I did that, I want to get some use out of him. So I'm throwing him on this team personally, but that's just what I'm doing. Another great team, Mon Mothma, Kyle Katarn. You're getting at R5. Mon Mothma is a pretty good leader. You can run her with Leia, and Baze Malbus can also go with Leia too. Cara Dune fits in a few different places. Hoth Rebel Scout fits in here nicely. There's a few other ones. I think Scarif Pathfinder can go in here as well. It's just a fun team. Kyle Katarn fits in here best for sure. This is probably one you should have thought about a little bit sooner, depending on where your guild's at. This is kind of like the guild farms. I had to farm my guild or my geos for my guild. You might want to think about a bounty hunter team for the crate raid. My guild is requiring we start farming Inquisitors, so I'm going to start thinking about that pretty soon. Jedi Knight Revan, so an Old Republic team for a crate raid would be great as well. Definitely think about that. And then after that, I kind of put these next few ones together. I probably can just do this actually. I like to think of these next ones together. The Executor, great ship. I'm so close. I'm so close to getting it. You get some great bounty hunter characters, some great Imperial troopers from this farm. It overlaps a lot with Sith Eternal. It's a bunch of Imperial troopers here. My Thrawn goes on my Palpatine lead Mara Jade Darth Vader team that I was telling you guys about earlier. He's also a decent plug and play character, but he's kind of falling out of favor. But I really like him on that team because he can control turn meter and get around taunts. Dooku is a requirement for Sith Eternal, but he doesn't have a definitive home. A lot of the Separatists go with the General Grievous lead, or you can put him with Newt. Count Dooku kind of isn't really fitting anywhere perfect just yet. He can kind of get thrown around, so you could put him on a Vader team as well to give him some extra speed. But Count Dooku is one of those characters you're going to need for Sith Eternal. I kind of just think of these farms together. I was doing these farms together, and I'm almost done with Executor. And I'm glad I did these farms together because they really built my roster up as I was doing it together. So highly would recommend this. And my last thing here is 3PO. This is a little bit of an interesting one. This is kind of like an extra side thing I put on the list. This isn't really like a high recommendation, I should say. It is just a recommendation. I've seen people play 3PO with I've seen it with Leia and I've seen it with Rey. I think I've seen it with Leia. I know I've seen it with Rey before. So if you got Rey, 3PO is a good idea. You're going to need 3PO for a bunch of different things. CLS team, you're going to need him for the gas event. 3PO is a great gate opener for a bunch of other legendaries. I don't know if he's needed for the Jedi Knight Luke farm or not. If he's needed for Jedi Knight Luke, then he's probably needed for Jedi Master Luke or vice versa. So if you haven't already, think about 3PO. He's on my farming to-do list for sure. I just got to find a way to fit him in next to my next farming path, I guess, because I got so much to do now. Because goddamn, I got to farm so many mods. Anyways, that's the video. If you did enjoy and you want to have more recommendations, put them in the comment section down below. I'll probably pin the most helpful comment, some other extra great teams that you could do off of your already great journey farms. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. Do all the YouTube stuff. I forgot to say that at the beginning of the video, I think. Do all the YouTube stuff I'm supposed to tell you to do. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you probably tomorrow. Goodbye.